I've been a fan of Hajime Katsumoto's puzzles for some time. I decided to design a 3D printable version of his 2018 puzzle called Soma in Case. The solve was really enjoyable. It wasn't super hard, but it was difficult enough to keep me busy. So I created a video to showcase this puzzle. And I'm showing some of Katsumoto's other designs, and I'll give you a solution here if you really need it for this puzzle. Now you can 3D print your own copy from the link in the description, and all the STL files are there. Some viewers might not know the reference Soma. A Soma cube was invented in 1933 by a mathematician who was lecturing his students on quantum mechanics. The instructor sliced a 3x3x3 cube into 7 distinct shapes, and these shapes can actually be assembled in over 200 ways to create a cube. Since these pieces can be assembled in so many ways, many puzzle designers have used these in their work. Soma in Case uses these exact pieces, but must be placed in a 5x3x2 box, which has a sliding lid. And on the lid is attached a 1-unit obstruction, and we'll take a look at that in a second. Now the 7 pieces take up 3x3x3 or 27 units. The box, which is the Soma in Case box, which is 5x3x2, has a space of 30 units, so you've got 3 empty spots. But one's taken up by that unit obstruction in the lid, so you've got 2 free spaces to use as you place the pieces. Now if you find you enjoy Soma in Case, here are some of other Katsumoto's designs. This is called 4-pack. And it has 4 Pac-Man-like pieces that you've got to put into an obstructed opening. This is the cube puzzle as well. You can find that in my model distributions. This is a little simpler. It's called Pin Block Case. It's got some pins, and I'm just using M3 screws there that go into slots. And the idea here is to place these 4 parts into a square opening. This one's called Slide Packing, and the case has a top which actually slides and comes right off. There's 4 pieces, 3 are C, 1 is sort of 2-dimensional. So that will actually come right apart. And the idea is to try to get all 4 pieces in there. It's probably a little easier than Soma in Case. But that's a great little stocking stuffer or gift as well if you know puzzlers. So let's take a look at Soma in Case. Here are the 7 Soma pieces. This is the box with the sliding case. We'll show you how to assemble that in a second. I've used some color changes by layer to make it look pretty. The idea basically is just to put the pieces in and see if you can assemble them and close the door. And as long as the middle space only is 1 cube unit high, you'll find that the lid will slide freely. But when you get too high in the middle, the obstruction will bind. Now remember, you can't have sort of a raceway of 5 units that are all free because you've only got 2 free units to work with. Hence the challenge. So you'll get so far, but then you'll have to put some pieces in the middle, and that will bind. So we'll talk about some strategies and hints later on in the video that can help you if you need it. If you 3D print this for yourself, you'll have all these pieces. Now, to put the box together, you actually need to glue a lid on, and so the slide is a little susceptible to the glue. You don't want to get any glue on that sliding piece. So you've got to be very careful that you glue this and only get the glue on the outside lip. And then that can go backwards. There's a backwards and a forwards there, so make sure you put that top piece on in the right orientation. So I just used basic super glue, and you've just got to make sure you get it on this outside lip. And don't get it on that top surface at all, right there, or you may glue your sliding lid and it will no longer slide. So a great gift to give someone. It's a nice size. And I recommend if you give it as a gift, you actually put the solution in, the pieces inside, tape it up, and I'll show you how to get the pieces out without anyone knowing how to solve the puzzle. If you give this away as a gift, not only will you find the STLs and the link in the description, but there's also a PDF there that will tell the user how to empty it without learning how to solve the puzzle. So this video will show how to do that. You simply turn it upside down, and as you slide it open, if you just shake the box, all the pieces will come out. You won't really learn too much about the solution. Oh, one more, upside down, and then all the pieces are out. So now you've got a puzzle to assemble. I really recommend you work with this puzzle for some time to discover its characteristics, but if you need some hints, there are some hints right here. So you can see that obstruction, and you'll notice that you'll need parts on both sides of the obstruction, so they'll need to go 2 units high. You can't make a raceway of 5 units for that to slide all the way there. But let's start with pieces like this. We're just guessing it. What are the 2 pieces that might have to go next to that obstruction? So we'll guess they might be those 2. So that obstruction can go down between those 2, fine. It can run up and down. We can start to put pieces in. But you'll notice as soon as I do something like that, the obstruction on the lid will hit it, and we can't close the lid, so we'll discard that. And if the center has too many holes, we get lost as well. So that might seem like a possibility. But we can't find too many other pieces to make the rails on either side 2 units high. So what if, and I'll stop this here, one of the things we have to do is we have to plug that middle hole at the right hand side. I'll take a right in through here. We have to plug that at some point because we're only allowed 3 free spaces, one which will be taken up by the obstruction. So while those are free at the beginning, they have to get plugged up at the end. And one way we could potentially plug them up is to move that 5 units, that lid 5 units, and so the obstruction will be there. We can then turn the box over and maybe lift that up and slide that down. And now the obstruction's way up here. And then the obstruction moves back, and then we have 2 units free to put in the rest of the pieces. So that's going to be your strategy to try to solve it. So that's a big hint. And we'll continue on here. Obviously, I'm not going to give you the solution, so we'll see why this isn't a solution. It goes pretty far. It's looking great. But right here, we've got 4 units wide, and we can't stick those 2 in. So with that hint, maybe that'll get you along the way to finding a solution. If you've really gotten stuck, here's the solution. But I encourage you to take quite a bit of time to try to come up with your own solution. And what you'll notice, if we put these pieces in like this, we can actually turn the box over, and this will go to the bottom once it's upside down. And those 2 will slide in. And that's sort of the magic aha moment here, because then you can slide these other pieces in. And at this point, the obstruction is up here. So you only have 2 units to put pieces in, but you only have 2 unit wide pieces left. And now that obstruction will move right up to the end and you can close the lid. So let's take a look at putting this in the box in real time, what it looks like. Their T-piece. These two. And now we'll close the lid all the way and turn it upside down. Because 2 of those pieces are 2 units high, they're not going to move, but that T-piece is going to move to the lid, and then we can slide the other pieces down underneath of it. Then, because we've got 2 units free, we just get the lid open enough. This will slide in. So you need to solve packing puzzles generally outside of the case. And then when you have a strategy, you can test it in your case. This will slide in. You have your L. And finally the little right angle piece. Because you've got a couple spaces free there, your lid will close. And voila, you've solved Soma in case. A really great puzzle.